Welcome to Slaughter Food Industries, my COETAIL final project, where I gamify an IGCSE marketing unit. In gamifying the marketing unit, not only did I want to increase engagement, but I wanted my students to take control of their own learning. I wanted to be their guide, who was always there to help them, but I wanted them to help themselves first. If they can't help themselves, there are other very capable students who in the class could. I didn't want to be upfront with attentive students who politely raise their hands to ask questions, but instead have constant chatter as people are all working on different things at the same time. These are the points I was focusing on as I looked at how to gamify the marketing unit. The first thing I did was go to my PLN, add new hashtags, add new communities to follow, and expand my PLN. I continued to interact with COETAILers, but found myself interacting with more and more people outside the COETAIL community, just to help me grow and get a better understanding of what gamification really meant. As my students are in an exam-based curriculum, I made sure my objectives fit in line with the class syllabus. Not every student was as excited as this student was. However, by keeping students in the process and getting their feedback and just having an open discussion about trying something new, students were willing to go ahead and give it a go. For the unit, I used a lot of different Google products, and right here is the Google site that I created. This is the first time I had used Google Sites, and it was a bit tricky at first, but once I figured out, it became relatively user-friendly. On the first day of the unit, students could look at all the different badges that they could earn, the XP points available, both individual and team, and they soon found out that team badges were very, very important, and the whole team dynamic was extremely important to succeed. One of the hardest decisions was having XP points relate directly to a student's grade. From talking with the students, we decided to have 65% of the grade be XP, with 35% be normal tests just like we had done before. We felt that this would give the motivation necessary to complete tasks, where otherwise students want to complete tasks just to be on top of the leaderboard. The teams now had all the projects, were front-loaded with different sources and tools that they could use. If they wanted to, they didn't have to. It was up to them how they were going to meet the learning objectives and complete the assignments. I now step back as a moderator. It was up to the students to talk to each other and find out how they can get the answers, how they can get the necessary skills required. One big thing that I've been using all year is Google Plus Communities, and this is something that the students had to continue to use. Asking questions, uploading resources. A lot of our badges also related to the communities, and all projects had to be uploaded to the community too. Ideally, what's uploaded ends up being a source for other students to use. So as students, we're not only completing our tasks and assignments, we're also helping our fellow students by doing a good job. By gamifying the class, I was hoping students could look past the carrot of their grades and extrinsic motivation. However, I know this is almost impossible to do, as I couldn't do it myself. However, I was hoping they could look towards their team and helping their team succeed, to find a reason to motivate themselves and to work hard and to do well.
Hey guys, let's be good stuff. What are we working on today?
And also marketing product oriented.
I did notice frustration start to come through, and I talked to my wife about this. She's a grade 5 teacher and suggested this pie chart, where you visually show the contributions by each team member by airing it out and talking to each other and making the pie chart. And then you set goals, so instead of looking back, we can focus on the task at hand and go forward and see what we can do as a team to succeed. Students no longer had homework. They had tasks. They had 11 weeks to complete those tasks. They could be completed at any time they wanted. So it was up to them how they got it done, either the individual tasks or the team tasks. This can be very difficult for anyone, especially a grade 9 student. This choice allowed them to decide exactly how they're going to study. They could use books, they could use the internet, they could talk with each other. It was completely up to them on what they wanted to do. This empowerment isn't for everyone though. Ideally, I wanted my students to do what they felt they wanted to do. If they had a certain skill set, they can lean on that skill set. The projects also were very open-ended, where I wanted them to show creativity. There were no rubrics. They were given a basic assignment and given choice on what they want to do and how they do it. However, this can be very difficult to manage. Especially as a team. Projects were no longer given a grade. You either passed the project or you didn't. And if you didn't, you'd receive constructive feedback and had an opportunity to try again and get that badge. Students had opportunities to take quizzes on multiple occasions. They could take one every day if they wanted to, with a total of 6 quizzes to take over the 11 weeks. It was up to them when they took those quizzes, and if they failed, they could try again the next day until they passed that. The overall goal is to get to that mastery of learning, where you don't just turn in an assignment and say, I'm done no matter what. You turn it in and you do it until you get it right. This can be very difficult though for students, especially if they procrastinate and wait till the very end of the game, and they might not get enough time to redo their assignment. I used AutoCAD in order to give students a weekly report so they could see exactly where they are. I felt this was really important, as in a video game you know what level you're on, you know how many points you are, it's all real time. And though I couldn't do everything in real time, I tried to keep everything as up to date as possible. Therefore, students got the reports, they saw their points, they knew where they were. Or they can go to the website and they could see exactly where the team is or the individual on the leaderboard. I had to update this, but once I updated it, it automatically went to the website. Students not only created and shared their projects,
I'm going to talk about a reflection on my advert. I make advert, not video commercial. There are a few reasons on that. Firstly, I thought that the Dokoro doesn't have enough money for making video commercial, since Dokoro is not franchisor.
we haven't completed the unit yet, so it's hard to give an overall judgment. For this class, I don't think I'll be gamifying our next unit. I've seen amazing highs, so many high fives and excitement with students. However, I also feel a lot of pressure. And also looking at the reflections from my students and the data they've given me, it makes me think I need more time to reflect and talk to them before I go forward with any more gamification. That being said, I could see myself gamifying this same unit next year with a different class, however with some minor tweaks. Evaluating an incomplete unit is a difficult task. However, when thinking about the SAMR model, I would say for myself that I have gone above the line, that I've gone from modification potentially even to redefinition. However, a lot of the technology that I've used is technology that I've used previously, especially the Google Plus communities. I'm just now creating tasks that utilize them more. However, when I think of SAMR, I think of it more as a baseline of what you've been doing previously, not necessarily from going from pen to paper, and I've completely redefined how the unit's gone. I've really enjoyed this project. It's been great to reflect and think back and question how I teach and how I can potentially change my teaching to make it better. I just want to thank my students. Without their openness, this project would never happen. Thank you guys.